Alrighty, hello everyone. Welcome to the live stream and good afternoon. This is a prototype of the Bloomin8 that is currently still on Kickstarter, and it will, I think, let's check, I think it's 4 days to go. So 4 days left in the Kickstarter here. I will link the Kickstarter campaign below if you're interested, but this is a Spectra 6 art panel. Can let's see, we got some people in the chat. Matt, sounds good, thanks, Vladimir. Can you guys just give me either a thumbs up or let me know in the chat if the audio is not coming through? That is typically, if I have an issue, that's normally what the issue is audio. So yeah, hopefully that is not an issue, but let me know. But anyways, welcome. Matt, I saw someone else in the chat there. Here is just a sample image that I put on. This is, I believe, the Afghan girl. It's kind of a famous photograph due to her very shocking, piercing eyes, I think. But I'm going to type my... I did a live stream on the reflection frame as well. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to... Katajawi, hello again, Katajawi. Thanks for joining. I'm going to put my chat, in the chat, I'm going to put my email, and you guys are more than welcome to send me images or art if you would like to see them on the device. So it's right there. Hopefully you can see it there. But yeah, let's make sure we got this nice and centered. Get the lighting up. So yeah, this is a Spectra 6 panel, and I just got it working like 2 days ago. I was having an issue with the app, but it turns out I just had to delete my information and then reconnect, and it worked. I tried that on stream, but it didn't work immediately, but I got it right away now. So I'll show you the app really quickly. So here you can see it was offline. I just heard a beeping sound. Maybe you heard that. And now it shows online here. Let me zoom in a little. You can see it's online. And what are we at? 55%. I think when I got this on Friday, it was at 59%. So hasn't gone down too much. Also, if you guys haven't experimented, the Bloomin8 app does have AI capabilities. So if you guys think of any funny prompts that you want to throw in, and you know, I can generate them here, then feel free to do that as well. So let me just go through the app kind of quickly. So when you kind of open it in the home page, there's a lot of like this inspiration kind of stuff that you can kind of just immediately throw on. So let me go to this one, for example, something kind of colorful, and I'll just show you how it refreshes. So you just tap the Bloomin8 here. You can see there's one device connected there. So now it will send it to the frame, and it will start to update. So after this one, I'll give you a bit of a walkthrough of the hardware. Even though this is not a finalized piece of hardware, this is definitely a prototype. So that should start soon. I'll leave that here so you can see it still. The brightness up. You can see it's doing its full refresh, and now it is fully rendered. So pretty vibrant colors. This is obviously a good example of putting something on Spectra 6 so that it pops a little bit. But yeah, this is nowhere near what the finalized hardware will be. I think in terms of the looks, it'll be the same. So, you know, the pass part out and the little mat here. I don't know if this one's easy to take out. I think it's wedged in, whereas the reflection frame was kind of just standing there. You could pop it out. But yeah, this is a prototype, so it does not have the SD card that it will in the final version. You know, I'm working with this here. It's got 2 buttons and then a little USB-C charger on it. But this is the same size as it should be. And so there we go. But it's you you can see the pass part out is a little wider on top than it is on the sides. So it's 13.3 inches this way, but significantly kind of bigger in the entire dimensions because the pass part out's bigger, or the mat, and yeah, that's kind of a brief walk around of the hardware there. Katajawi, have you compared this and the reflection frame with the same image side by side? Yes, Katajawi, I've done it on a couple images. It is, they're both still kind of in the prototype phase, so I don't want to like have any final opinions on that because I'm sure they're very subject to change. But I can a little later in the stream I'll try to show maybe 2 or 3 images just comparing the two, and I plan on maybe doing a full video on that as well. But let's go. So I haven't actually explored around from the images in the app too much, so I'm kind of curious about popping these on a little bit. So was this that chill guy, but looks a little different. I don't know. Let's pop it on. These look vibrant, so let's see how that looks. And you'll see. Actually, let's okay, let's time it because I haven't timed this one. From when it starts flickering. Okay. Just so we can get a rough comparison and kind of see the time. So I have noticed that the reflection frame and this one are different in terms of the way they kind of render. And maybe that's due to the algorithm, but it appears that they show different images right away. I didn't catch that exactly. We'll do another one and then we'll time it properly. But yeah, that looks pretty decent. Now let's get one that we can fully time. And if anyone's just joining now, I put my email in the chat there, so you're more than welcome to send images, art there if you'd like to see something on here. Let's send that. You'll see it kind of sends, and then once it is done, now I'll go back to my stopwatch, reset it, and we'll try to start right when it starts. There we go. And I'll keep my hand hovering here so I can get it right when it ends. But yeah, it does these kind of blank images and then it starts to do the image, which is kind of consistent with what I've seen in Spectra before in like promo videos. There we go, stop. So about 19 seconds. This one looks cool. It's got like with the dithering, it looks like very kind of artistic. I'll try to zoom in a little bit so you guys can see. You can see the quality of the dithering there. I'm going to confirm what algorithm they're using for the dithering. But for those of you that aren't aware, the algorithm for dithering on these devices is very important because there's a lot of methods to do it, and that can end up influencing the way the image looks heavily. So I'll confirm with them what actual algorithm they're using for the dithering. But let's source some photos maybe. And also, I'm actually curious now. I haven't tried this, but I'm wondering if I can share it directly from the app. Let's check that out. If it shows up. It doesn't show up. No. Okay. So you got to do it directly in the app. So I'll just show you how you import an image. If I go to the Bloomin8 app here. Here you can do text prompts for AI. And then here I can upload. So let's do one that I had put on. Yeah, maybe let's do this one. So I popped an image, should show up in a second. Right there. And now I tap that, and then if I hit Bloomin8, give a second, and then it'll start showing, and then it'll load, and then that will start printing. Where's everyone joining from today? Okay, so this one will start printing. Also, I'm curious, has anyone in the live stream actually backed this? Are you guys curious about backing it, or are you more just curious about Spectra 6? This is so let's go here, and then you can see this is their campaign right now. I'll link it below in the description if you're interested. But it looks like, yeah, they got 4 days to go, and they got 1.3 mil raised already from a 20K goal. That's quite a lot. But yeah, I will be interested to test out eventually the IKEA frame compatibility, and maybe the SD card reader as well, because this does not have it as a prototype device. So let's let's go back here, and you can see this image now. Germany, LA, nice. A little West Coast. Kind of very curious. We're gonna wait. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you know, this company. If let me go back here. If you guys are interested in backing, I'll just go through a quick debrief here. But basically, they do have good prices in general. And then if you look at the creator, it's this company called Arpobot, and they've had 3 backed projects already, 2 created projects. This is their third one. And yeah, I think they had these smart shades, and then I saw they had a, I think you can even find it on Amazon, but it's their digital frame. So like in the AI here, in the AI feature here, you can actually do like live images too, and that I believe was for their fully like screen based one. Obviously Spectra 6 is static, so you're not going to be able to do that on Spectra 6. But yeah, I mean, the prices are pretty good. I think you need to just really evaluate it yourself, because I on Kickstarter, like, it is always a gamble. I've had pretty good success. I think out of all the Kickstarters I've backed, I've had like one that didn't deliver, and then one that maybe delivered very late. So I've had good success, but I know people that have gotten burned on certain things, so I get that. But just looking into the company, you know, they're Sydney based, and they've had projects that have been backed before. So that's my kind of opinion on that. By the way, I'm not paid to say any of this. This is, you know, I work in the ink space, so I asked them if they could send me a device so I could take a look at, because I was just generally curious, and that is what they did. But this is just me looking at it with you guys and kind of evaluating how it looks. So let's see. I've backed it and want to see it live, and if I should unback it. Okay, interesting, Matt. Okay. So Matt, like I said, this is not the final device. This is a prototype. I don't know if you were, I think you were on when I showed up at the back. You know, this is a full prototype. It's got the little breakout board here, and it doesn't have the SD card yet. But that being said, they're still live on Kickstarter, so they obviously don't have a final project yet. But DIY, Katajawi DIYing an OLED based frame now. Oh, cool. Yeah, I mean OLED could be good for contrast, you know, on frames and photos. Let's see. Does the app crop the picture correctly to the aspect ratio of the frame? Oh yeah, so Techie, I found out after there is a way to do it in the reflection frame app also. Let's give it a shot here. So let me try to import a photo that I know is like maybe 16:9 or not the right aspect ratio, and then we can see what it does. A lot of these I ended up cropping for the actual dimension already, but Katajawi, more curious about quality of Spectra 6. Yeah, that's fair. I think, I hope this is 1080p, so hopefully you can like see it decently. When you start to pixel peep, then you do notice like the pixels, but as you get further away, it's a much more convincing image. And like I've mentioned before, I think Spectra 6 is a lot better for art than photography. I've seen some photos that look really good on it, but not all photos look good. But generally, if you get art that has a good contrast, then I think you will find that it looks pretty good in general. But for photos, there's a lot of kind of tinkering you have to do, and some of them look good out the gate, but some of them you do need to play with and tinker a little bit. And I've demoed before, but if the image doesn't generally have good contrast, then I don't think it's going to be the best looking on Spectra. So, okay, so like here's one that is clearly not the right aspect ratio. This is the one that's the right aspect ratio. So we'll try to get this one in the app here. So let's go to upload. Just got to go find it again really quick, but I think it's right here. So yeah, popping that in. And so this is going to be just me uploading it without doing anything. We'll see if it auto kind of frames that or not. My guess is it doesn't, but we'll see. And remember that these apps are all going to get updated constantly. So like, Reflection Frame told me that they are planning on doing AI as well, but that's not in the app yet, but they will add that. So I imagine that optimizations on the apps for both of them will happen pretty frequently, especially as the products get updated for like the SD card feature and all that. So let's see what happens here. So this one, I think it doesn't squeeze it. I think it just crops it itself. Yeah, it didn't really change the aspect ratio. It just cropped in itself. So I think, yeah, my general recommendation for both of them is just easier if you do it in your phone and then upload. But the Reflection Frame, I believe, did have an option to do that. This, I'm sure it'll get updated at some point to change the aspect ratios and kind of fit it in the frame. But this is definitely a beta of the app, So, Juwu, welcome. So Katajawi, my use case is photos. Hopefully a successor will be well suitable for all sorts of photos too. Yeah. Katajawi, I can show you a photo that someone sent me an email the other day and they wanted me to compare a few photos. I'll send you one that looked pretty good. Let's see. Okay. I keep forgetting that I have to upload it in the app and not do it directly from the photo. Okay, so oh, I deleted it from my phone. Hold on, I gotta re-download them 1 second. If the app have preset crop function, that auto crop size that fits the frame size would be the best. Yeah, Juwu, currently not, but I imagine that is something that's pretty basic that they will come out with when the product launches. But this is a prototype, like I said, and it's probably a beta version of the app. So all right, let's try to find. I can't find that email the guy sent me. Anyways, I'll just do a different image. Let's see. So Actually, this was an image that I took. This is one that I showed on the reflection frame. Let's do this one. So this is an example of an image that I think looks okay. It's not the highest contrast because there's a lot of kind of gray in there. And like here, you can see it's pretty gray here. So in Spectra, I don't think something like this that isn't high contrast looks the best, but the details look good, like the gray and the kind of micro details in there. Those are pretty vivid. And while that is uploading, I will I'll find another photo that is a little more contrasty so I can show you. So yeah, this is, so you can see it gets good detail like here and with the kind of leaves, but the contrast isn't the best in this photo. So I don't think it's like one of the best to display on it. But let me show you one that does look good. So let's do this one. We'll tap it in on the Bloomin8. Amish Karya. Yeah, I can try a black and white photo. Yeah, Katajawi, I think you had a good black and white. I'll try to share that one. So let's update this one. And I will, what was that? That was on Friday, right? So April 18th. So this is one that Kajawi sent. I'm gonna download it. There's a black and white one for you guys. But yeah, you can see there the image. Let's get a little more light here, as it's getting a little darker out. So I'm gonna save this. And guys, by the way, you are more than welcome to, I'm going to put it in the chat again. You're more than welcome to send me images if you would like to see them on here. Or alternatively, if you think of a fun AI prompt, I can type it in there. Yep, there we go. So, cossack@gmail.com. So Katajawi, I'm gonna download your photo, and who was asking? Amish, you wanted to see a black and white, so we'll pop something like that on there. And I believe they're gonna have, or are you saying the white balance on there, Katajawi? Let me. So, yeah, I don't know. Google wasn't letting me download it, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go. I just screenshotted it, and then I'm going to crop it to 4:3. There we go. I'm gonna save that. And now I'm gonna go back to Blumin, and then we're going to upload. So here will be a black and white one, guys. And it is in landscape, so I will rotate it. Oh, actually interesting. So it didn't auto detect the orientation. I'm sure that's also a feature that will come soon. So I'll send it like this, and then yeah, I still have a piece of paper here. So this is actually like the mat on here is actually very white. So you can see it's almost, I think it's whiter than paper. Yeah. So that should give you an idea. Oh no, maybe it did split it. Yeah, it did split it. Okay. So we'll rotate. So there's a black and white photo. I think Amish, you were asking for that. Katajawa, are you talking about the panel whites, or are you talking about? Were you talking about the mat? Alan, I think I saw you sent one on Friday that I didn't put up. So let's do that one. It was on the 18th, right? Oh yeah, let me also download this one. Yeah, Katajawi, the preview seemed wrong, but it did it right. Like I said, the app I'm sure is still in very beta situation. Okay, Alan, I think I got yours here. So let's view image, and then we can save it. Let's see if this is 4x3 already. Yep, good job, Alan. You sent in the right ratio. So let's do that. Let's go back, upload another. And then, let me close it again. So as you saw, once you upload an image, then it stays in your Bloomin8 gallery kind of, and you can then just put it back in if you want. So you don't have to, it must be logging them in a folder just like the reflection frame, because you don't have to keep it there. So, but it must be having a cache of it somewhere, I think. So let's, also I think, Alan, I'm going to optimize this one a little bit. So I'm going to go to details, and then I'm going to remaster. See if it makes it a little, no remastering needed. Okay, it likes your photo. Albums. All right, let me close all this out. For some reason, it's not finding it. I wonder if it's the format. Maybe, what format was that? It's not liking that. Is this, oh, did it do, is it HVAISC? Let's see. It is, it's a JPEG. Yeah, no, the other ones were JPEGs. Jude, if the pixelation is any different from a camera taken image, that's tough to know because I don't have this on camera. This isn't mine, and also it'd be interesting to compare it to film. But yeah, I will do more like pixel peeping details when I can do it in 4K, and I can have different camera angles, closer camera angles, but I can move in a little bit if you want to see it. It gives you an idea. Yeah, Alan, I don't know. I'm having trouble finding this image on my phone. It's not showing up for some reason. Let me see. Try again. Albums, screenshots. I guess I can take a screenshot of it. Let's do that. And I'll just crop it. 3x4. Save. So let's go here. All right, now it showed up. So let's get this one on, and we will have to rotate it. So that should start sending in a second, and then we'll rotate it. I can't remember, was it this way? Yeah, I think it's this way. Should start momentarily. Okay, Joey. Oh, maybe a close-up of the black. Yeah, hopefully that gave a little more detail. And I also sent an AI generated photo image and would be interesting to see. Okay, I'll check real quick. You sent that on Friday, Ju, or you just sent it? Oh yeah, I got it. This one, right? AI generated. All right, we'll download that. So that one showed up right away. Yeah, Ju, I got it. Don't worry. We'll upload that. So if anyone's just joining right now, welcome to the stream. This is a prototype or a very pre-release unit of the Bloomin8, which is currently on Kickstarter. But I'm kind of walking people through some photographs that they requested and throwing up some art images and some other photos as well. So I do have my email in the chat there. You're more than welcome to send them. But I also I haven't tried an AI. This is the first AI generated one that someone sent via email, but the Bloomin8 app does have the ability to do prompts here. So if anyone has whoever has the funniest prompt of something, I'll try to pop in here. Alan's photo blue is desaturated a bit, I think. Yeah, I might, that one I might play around with a little bit. But you can see this one is, let's go to the actual image here so you can compare. There you go. Now let me show some of the other stuff that I've been playing around with that I didn't show on Friday. So maybe we can get some of that. Here's one. All right, let's go back to the Bloomin8 app. Upload. All right, we're gonna get a little X-Men on here. So here, kind of like a comic cover, I think. Alan, a bit flat like other panel. I don't think it looks flat. But yeah, I mean, the colors are a little like desaturated in comparison to the real photo. Let's see how this one looks in terms of contrast there. You can already see that yellow really pops. And the blue, there's a little more saturation for you. So that's one thing, that's what I'm saying about photos, is I think you need to play around with them. So maybe I can walk through an example of someone sent me an email on Friday. I downloaded one or two of them. Let me see. But I think with photos, you'll probably want to end up playing around with them and like optimizing it to look its best for the actual Spectra 6 panel, if you end up getting one, whichever one you might get. So he sent me 3 examples of an image, one where he oversaturated and one where he popped vibrancy. So I just re-downloaded all of them. Let me see if they're showing up. Hopefully they're showing up in the Bloomin app. Yeah. But yeah, you guys can take a look at that. I'll pixel peep a little here too really quick. There's Wolverine and Beast. Anyone seen this X-Men 97 on Disney? So let me take a screenshot of this one. So I'll try to pop this one that he'd made vibrant. I thought when I compared them on the reflection frame, I thought this one looked the best. So let me just crop it real quick, and then I'll pop it on for you guys. Okay, so we'll go here, upload here. Yeah, this one looks good. This one, I think this was the first like really impressive one I saw on it. I was like, whoa, that looks cool. People, Michael, people just used to oversaturated colors of the backlight on a phone. Proper comparison would be with a printed version. Yeah, definitely, Michael. I'm gonna hopefully I can get some prints and compare them. I've shown. Let me think if I have anything on here that I could show in comparison. So let's pop this one on. See if I have any other stuff on here. Ooh, this might take me a second because I have to find where I put the wired mag, but this would be a cool one to show the comparison of these 3. Let's see how this looks on here. This photo I generally thought looked pretty good. That let me check. What was his name? Yeah, Marco Ferreira sent to me. I thought this one looked nice. He did optimize it for vibrancy, but he is kind of, I think, a wildlife photographer, and so he was very curious how wildlife and landscape stuff would look on here. Yeah, certainly. So I think it also depends on your phone, right? So I have a little thing here where I can go to details and then I can remaster. And I've found that sometimes the remastering does help. Like it makes it pop a little bit more. But then you are like here. Let's see. This one's already pre-optimized, so I think I didn't want to play with it. But some photos did look good like that. And then obviously, every phone has some form of auto kind of calibration there, or you can just do specifically, your light balance, your brightness, contrast, exposure, saturation, and all that. And that can kind of vary from photo to photo of how much you might need to tinker with it and see how that ends up looking. So I think it's definitely iterative sometimes. Cover and like magazine art like that, I've normally found that the remaster just works really well. You just remaster it, and then it makes those colors pop a little bit more, and they look good on Spectra. But for photos, you will need to do a little bit more tweaking in general. Juwu, nice bird, good color too. Yeah, so it has decent contrast between the two. And I think the one thing here is like the green and the black that creates contrast, so it makes it kind of pop. And then the birds in the foreground as well, which gives it a little more depth, you know? So let me just check my email, see if anyone sent any. All right, how about we try an AI prompt now? Anyone got a good so it just reconnected. If not, we can just go to their bin here and look at a few more. See how Iron Man's Christmas fight. Let's check this one out. Juwu, I don't really think I can comment on that yet. You know, there are more coming out, so I would definitely like to look at all of them first before I make that decision. From what I know, there's four brands. There's Reflection Frame, there's Bloomin8, there's Ink Poster, and then Allura Tech as well. But yeah, I do plan on doing a lot of close-up details, pixel peeping. Still, I need to read a little more into the algorithms. I started reading that, and I think that will be interesting because that could have a small effect on what device looks the best based on their algorithm or whatnot. That one looks pretty cool. Yeah, I like that. All right, so let's just play around with this. I don't know, an E. Let's try something meta. An e-ink smart picture frame with very vibrant art on it. See what that comes up with. So I talked about this a little bit before, but for AI art, this is definitely something that I want to look into more because I was watching a TED Talk, and AI art it's cool because, like, you know, this was clearly AI generated. Iron Man was definitely never in a Christmas scene, I don't think. But so it has like the kind of cool uses like that, but then it is also something that, you know, can take away from creators and is definitely competing with them, even though you may not think of it directly as that. But I think, okay, so let's see this one. I think there's a lot of discussion around that topic that needs to happen. So this one is AI generated. Let's pop it on there. That should start refreshing in a sec. And while that refreshes, let me see if I have this Wired magazine so I could compare it. maybe I can just look it up. Let's see, wired. So there it is. Wired magazine. Was it November, December 2024? Maybe I can just do a quick download. Here we go. Download this. And then we will crop it a little bit. It's 3x4. Increase the resolution a little bit. And now hopefully we should be able to pop it in the Bloomin8. So actually, you know what, for this one, I am going to see if I can do the remastering. So we'll see how that looks on here. So let's see, does the remaster look better? Yeah, maybe like a hair more vibrant. So we're going to save that. And then we're going to go back to the Bloomin8. Upload here. So this will give you guys hopefully a little representation of the three. So this will be gallery, a print, and this in real life. So it should be uploading. And let's see, let me rearrange here a little bit. This is the Pocketbook Inkpad Color 3. I need to tilt it off axis for the light. And let's shift this a little so you can see this better. And then we can get it on all four. So you can see what it's like on an OLED, in a print, on momentarily Spectra 6, and then on Kaleido 3. So yeah, I mean, you can see the yellows look really good. That's almost a perfect match, I'd say, in terms of vibrancy. The green is more forest green. You can see there. This is a little bit of artifacting here, which I've found a little bit in general. I've found that on Spectra a bit more in photos. I see some artifacts somewhere, but hold on, I exited out of this one. Let's keep it here. And then, so you can see here it is smooth. Here is a tiny bit of artifacting. But then this gray looks like more like gray, like here. On here, it's kind of a light blue for the hottest, you see there? And then you can see red doesn't look great on Kaleido, but looks pretty good here. It does look a tad more orange than the red here. This is good. You see how Kaleido gets banding? So I'll bring it closer. You can see there's like banding that happens in Kaleido if I don't move the page. Also here, see right here. So look at the normal image. It smoothly fades in. I don't know if that's coming across on camera, but it is doing roughly that here. It is a more harsh transition, but it's nowhere near like this banding that happens here. Maybe you can see here. Let's see. I'm not a fan of AI art. It steals from actual artists. AI is nice to help with retouching here and there, but everything more than that is difficult. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat, Katajawi. Michael Skidmore, likely from just the source image itself causing the shadows and highlights to be blown out. Could be. Definitely could be. I think e-ink has problem reproducing neon colors. Yeah, I mean, what would you consider neon? Like you're talking about this green here? This is kind, yeah, this is kind of neon. I mean, the yellow neon does look probably the most like neon, you know? But I'm trying to see what else I can kind of pixel peep on here. I think we talked about every color pretty much. But yeah, hopefully that gives you just an estimation of like just pure raw colors on these different devices. And also an OLED here. You can see the full OLED here. So yeah, pretty interesting. This is my first time comparing all four of them. Should probably get a gallery in here too. But did anyone see that new gallery device that came out? I was kind of curious. I think it was this is one that's kind of cool. Let's see, read, moo ink. I don't know when this is coming out, but this was. Let's anyone see this? I think, I mean, the only really like viable gallery product right now is the Remarkable Paper Pro, but this one is foldable and is an 8-inch gallery panel. So I'm wondering how this one's going to look in terms of color e-ink. They must have done some tuning if they're launching a new gallery product just to make it kind of more similar to the Remarkable Paper Pro. Because if anyone remembers the Big Me galley device, that was not very good, but it was also an 8-inch device, I think, so maybe it's using a similar panel. But yeah, that'll be interesting. Sorry, side tangent. So back to Spectra. Yeah, any other images you guys would like to see on here? Let me see if I have anything else lined up. So yeah, I do in the next probably week, I do plan on doing more kind of close-up images and putting out 4K content so you can see it a little bit better and a little bit closer up if you'd like, and perhaps do a comparison as well to the reflection frame. There's the Afghan girl again on it. I could do a quick comparison of those two if you want to see, since I already have it on there. So let's pop this back on. Should send in a second. And here's the reflection frame. Let me fix the lighting so it's not directly on the side of it. And let's get this light fixed too. Oh, let me move this. So reminder that both of these are still, prototypes. I think the green looks a little more saturated here. The eyes are a little, like, they pop a little more here. And let's see, there's more artifacting here, but then there's a little more artifacting on her face here. I don't know if this stuff's coming across on camera, but this is just a quick, brief. So like her clothes doesn't have as much artifacting, but there is a more appearance of the dithering artifact here. And then, like I was saying, I think the skin looks smoother on here in terms of the gradation changes versus the gradation changes here. Katajawi, no, it uses a different color palette. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Ju, you're saying warmer skin tone. Um, so yeah, it's definitely interesting comparing, and it's tough to fully compare at this point. Oh, sorry, I'm blasting you guys with this light. It's tough to fully compare at this point because these aren't final products, so like things in the app could change, the algorithm could change of the tuning, but these are the same source images, so just FYI on that. But yeah, I'll look forward to seeing how things develop and doing some more kind of comparisons in the future. But yeah, kind of to answer your question, the skin. Let's see. The gallery is. Let me get this out of here. Let's get this back here. Yeah, in that image, it does look a little more saturated. Um, but yeah, so to answer your question, Katajawi, okay, so Gallery 3 is the same type of tech as Spectra 6. No, I mean it's inherently similar in terms of the actual, like I can show you really quickly if you would like to see, but I'll think I have it up here. So Spectra 6, if you look, there's these different particles and a white particle, and you see them moving. So positive, negative charges, bring them forward with these tiny little micro cups they have inside. And then if we look at gallery, so gallery is a CMYK color model. E-ink. So it's different color tones that are being used there. And then it's using combinations of them. So whereas here you have to use dithering because you're putting like the red, and like you're putting them in little different areas to create combinations of color with those. These you're like kind of like mixing them on top of each other and merging them. So it's a CMYK color model, which is like similar to printers. If you've ever done like an HP printer, you know that you're changing like probably the black the most, but then there is like a cyan and then a magenta and a yellow as well, and so it's creating that kind of effect when it's printing. Michael, it would be interesting to throw them in Lightroom and narrow the histogram to see if the artifacts go away. Interesting. Can't say I was expecting full SDR coverage, but it seems close enough, that is. Wouldn't CMYK match better with print? So it would be best match to photo reproduction. So yes and no. Like the gallery panel on the Paper Pro, for example, it is very gray. So you like definitely 100% need a backlight on gallery. It's whereas like Kaleido's actually even, I think, a little more. Oh, sorry, let me get out of this. I think Kaleido is actually even a little more gray. So if I turn this off, you'll see once the backlight's still on, it's going to turn off in a second. You'll see it's going to fade off. And when it fades off, if it ever does, right there, you see how gray that is? So gallery is a little less gray, but it's still gray. So if you're putting it on a art panel like this, then you're gonna need like a sort of front lighting on it. Whereas Spectra, I think you can get away with ambient lighting. Obviously right now I have like pretty decent lighting on it, but if this is in a well-lit room, then I think it has a convincing effect that it's like a piece of paper or a piece of film or something. So that is one thing in general about these Spectra 6 panel, whether it's a reflection frame, ink post, or this. I think you also have to evaluate where you're going to put it. You definitely want it in a room that is a bit more bright, or that has good lighting around it, so that when you're in the room and the lights are on, you'll be able to see it well. Oh, I don't like gallery. Okay. Point is, we only want room lighting. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, Jubu. So like, I have rooms in my house where they're not like there aren't many windows near them. There or like my kitchen generally is like darker, so I don't think it's something I would put in my kitchen because maybe when the lights are really bright, like you'll be able to see it well. But I want it somewhere where I don't have to have the lights on always, where it can look good. So I'll have it somewhere that's more a room that's more sun facing, and that way it can naturally just reflect the pixels of the Spectra panel. But yeah, hopefully that clears some things up for you guys. I do have to get going soon. So if there are any last questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. But if not, thank you all so much for joining, and hope this was either educational for you or you were able to see some stuff that you wanted. Maybe we can throw one last image up. Oh, this one's kind of interesting. I cropped a little bit of a newspaper. I just wanted to see what newspaper would look like on here. Yeah, no problem, Michael. No problem, Jew. Thank you guys for joining, Matt as well. This one should start printing. And then if there are no more questions, we will likely call it. Jew, I will ask them, and then I'll make a comment on the reflection frame live. Or if I might put out a video this week on the reflection frame, so I'll announce it there for you if you're interested in that one. Here you can see a little newspaper, so it does get a little bit of that grainy look. But it does look rather like newspaper. Kind of Jowie, thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining. If you do want to see the reflection frame stream, I'll put it right here so you guys can check it out. But I will be putting out some videos on both of these probably this week, and hopefully at some point we'll compare those so you can get better quality 4K video and see maybe it a little bit better. And I can display the products a little bit better than I can just with an overhead cam here. But yeah, take care. Thank you guys for joining, and I hope you all have a great week. Bye.